convicted felon, and I put no. You get what I'm saying? Because I already know they ain't gonna let me in the door. So he called me. He was like, "Well, Miss, we ran your background check, and it shows that you are convicted felon." I get the stuttering. Well, and I was like, you know what? You were I did. I messed up. Blah blah blah. He said, "Well, we accept felons, but where you lied, we can't help you out." I'm like, "Okay, man, let it go." Then like 2 or 3 days later, he called me back. He said, "You know what? We're gonna give you a chance because you didn't cuss me out. You were kind about it, So, and that's where I live to this day.
That's the thing. I mean, sometimes, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but the truth will set you free. That's what it did. You told the truth, and then instead of fighting it, and just tell the truth, and let's go with it. Now, when we talk about it, and we haven't gotten to this, but we did a long time ago, going in there, telling them all. That's another thing that's kind of tricky. Like when we go in there, like you say, you're a felon, but then they kind of get the pride. So to see what type. Now we got a little difference. You know what I mean? So there are certain things that you can answer, right? Certain ways you can answer in a professional way, but yet still not reveal. Not saying we're hiding, but it's like it's there. Once you run it, you'll see it. So it's no need, because once I do it in this interview, you're gonna be like, shoot, trying to dig in and see, and that's So it's definitely something we had spoke to some guys about, doing an interview, because there's also a gap. Yeah. You said that. There's a gap in between. What's this gap right here? Now you work pretty good up until 2020, 25. Now where's this gap from now? And even, kind of saying some things, in a professional way, to not, not that we're hiding. I'm not saying that, but it's just like, it's like I said, a lot of judgmental things going on or whatever. But now, it's more about you showing up now, because think about it. There's a lot of jobs out here that people just don't want to take for whatever reason. For whatever reason, even the fast food jobs, they're paying daily, sometimes paying weekly or whatever, but they're paying. So but everybody in their mind thinks, well, I don't want to work no fast food. But I say you will. I mean, I will tell you this. Working. I work sort of fast food, like a restaurant. You leave it there though, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm telling you. The more you feel like you need money and the more responsibilities on you, and you definitely don't want to be tied to no phone. Not in mine. It's just one of them things. I'm still like, man, like shaky over there. Me being held to that phone, being on call. Man, I'm telling you, it's rough, man, because you can't. Mentally, it's one of the things that people don't understand. Like I told you, I just worked an 8-hour shift at McDonald's, and it's over. It's over, right? Yeah. But think about it. If you was a manager, man. So Mike ain't come in. Now you at home. Now you gotta get ready. Man, it's rough, man. But you guess what? You salary, right? You ain't hourly now, so you gotta get them clothes back. Yeah. So it's something you had. So there is a, and it's good to have that responsibility, because through that, don't get me wrong, you could probably a manager at McDonald's to a manager at at one of these major companies, because a manager is a manager is a manager. When it comes to, I get it, but you still learn the managing skills, and that's the big thing. So starting out on the quote unquote, if you think it's the bottom, it's not a bad thing, because I think any money that you gather in, as far as on the legal side and doing it daily, or that way, is a better way anyway, because you don't have to look behind your back or look at anybody trying to take it from. It's not, and I get it. You want more money, and I get that, but we got to put in the work in order to get it. But some people don't. I don't know what some people are. That's another thing, taking your pride and putting it to the side. Yep. Because I'm sure I encountered a lot anyway about pride, not so much in my job, but just when I talk to the gentleman, where at the fellowship home, things like that, is that pride. There's a more, like I said, on the substance abuse issue thing, but still. Yeah.
I see it more in men than anything. They got that big pride that I'm supposed to take care of my family. Flipping, you better go flipping for a little bit longer. Get you a couple more hours in. That's how.
You do know without a job,
you're not supporting them at all. Exactly. Yeah, come on now.
I think a lot of that, when you go back to, this going back a long time, but it's just different when, the roles have changed a lot. Like I said before, I'm not saying that men aren't doing things, because I know they are, but women are doing things just the same, and it's hard for people to understand, that women are strong. And not that men aren't, but sometimes, if you mad because the woman doing, step up to the plate. Yeah. Step up to the plate then, if that's the case. If you thinking that, but that's the thing, pride gets you to thinking, I ain't going to walk in no parole, or I ain't going to go in this employers and talk to them about, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Because if you're hungry, if you really, believe in what you're doing, you will. Male or female, doesn't matter. I mean, like I said before, but it is good to see. But see, I think you can see this now. They don't even see you as a female.
No, they see me as a.
but you understand what I mean? No, I mean, it's
like,
now I'm not saying at first they probably didn't, but now they don't. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like
like-
a person that that we need to we need to get with, we need to get behind, because it's like she got something here where she's trying, and that's the thing. So it goes beyond that. Because it's really now, they call your name, but it's really about just a bunch of felons. That's what you start to learn. It's like, wow, I mean, this is what it is, and that's the thing, which is great. Don't get me wrong, which is great, because you got people that help you right now.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you like to shout them out. Not you don't have to have a name, but definitely.
I don't mind telling. They don't mind telling
Okay.
you. I got Courtney Settle. Let me tell you about her. The day I met her, when I started Just a Bunch of Felons in October, I met her later on in that month, and oh my gosh, she's the one that got me in parole. She's the one that got me down at Valtech. Wow. She's done, reached her hand out and broke her neck for me. Trina Tellez, she's had my back from the beginning. My car broke down during the time, and she's on call. I need a ride. She's there to take me to. And then Lindsay Burton, she's like the passing of her father, everything that she's been through. Right. She's been my backbone. So those three right there, they got my back. And then I got Jamie, the one that came in and did what she did. And then I got a girl out in Morgantown.
Wow.
And her grandfather was actually Judge Blake down in Fayette County. Right. So it was important to me to even have her in my corner.
Of course it is.
So she's down in Morgantown.
So you're picking up steam.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great thing as well.
Yep. So I got a little team.
Right. And I think a couple of them they'll be on the panel.
Yeah.
Next week, or a couple of weeks, for the Square Business podcast live. So that'd be great. Yeah, that's why I knew Kurt and Trina too. Yeah. But that's a great thing. I think getting the word out is a good thing. Supporting things like that as well. I mean, I don't know if you like that or not, but I mean, like I said, for even thinking about a podcast to get yourself out as well. You know what I mean? I think it's good as well.
I thought about it. I actually just thought about having something from not even a podcast, but I just think it's important for people that are like me that's been convicted of a felony and overcame and actually become something of themselves, for them to be able to tell their story. What was
you just said it.
Yeah.
You just said it. I think it is. I mean, familiarity is a great thing, and also that's the thing, consistent. And like I said, so now I can do it. I mean, and people don't see that, but sometimes that's what it is. Like I said, we don't always get the best views, but it ain't even about that. It's just some people see somebody that saw it.
Don't take one person.
Right, and that's the thing. Somebody sees this, and then go from there as well. But I don't know if that's whatever it may be. I don't know what it is, but it's something that we a newsletter, things like that as well, something like that that's get the word out, and that's what I say. And also to really realize that you're no different than I am. You just took a different road than I did, but that doesn't mean that we can't meet back, right, on the same road, which is the right road. And I think once we start to do that, because a lot of times people kind of like they keep them, oh, you over here, you over there. We've seen it. Let's get it right, but it doesn't have to be that way. Everybody's included. I think a lot of people that you work with are all different type of cultures and races as well. Yeah. I think it's good for you to see it, but you're young, so you probably started to see it anyway, but now you see it even more, and that's the thing, it's like, just, crushing that part of it, right? The racial divide or the cultural divide or even the social, divide of it, I think is a big thing. And once we start to do that, then we can start to, unite and unite better when it comes to that. And I think that's what, a lot of times what it takes. But it also takes us education as well to come on and, how can we, expect others to, want to accept us if we can't even accept each other. Exactly. And that's. I mean, I don't get it, but that's not. I'm not for it, whatever. But I don't get it, but that's the thing. I mean, once we stop doing that, I think it'd be a great thing. Yeah. It's like when we had the Felons from Square Biz on. I mean, like I said before, I'm not saying we do the same thing. We got a podcast. They got okay. Let's unite. Let's support them. And they, I seen them wearing the shirts support us, right, as well. it's good to see, but it's definitely, like I said, for even with yourself. And like I said, but that's why, the partnership is important. It's important to the people that are going to come through the doors, right? It's important to you too, as far as, building your brand up as well. We do this, you do this, and we need to be good at what we do as well. I mean, let's get it right. I mean, we need to be good at what we do as well. But we're only good when people go out there and start to work. We already seen it happen before. So I know that it'll work because I've seen it. And they also keep the jobs. It wasn't only the fact that they do it. I don't know if this is I guess maybe more girls was in the program at the time. Maybe, and I just didn't notice it, but it's a lot of them. There's a lot of males working too, though. But there's a lot of females working too.
Yeah, I think the ladies just been showing up.
Maybe it might be right. You might be right.
I think they just been showing out, doing their things.
Right. I mean, I think it's a lot of times, and that probably could come from them seeing their role models of their parents doing it as well, right? And that's a story for another day. I mean, if that's only have a mom in the home and stuff like that, we can tackle that another day. But still, we can be present even if you don't live with your kids. I don't live with both of my kids, but I'm still present. I mean, that's a lot of times what it's being present, during those times, right? So it's really quality sometimes and more than anything. And I think, a lot of times that's what it takes. That's what you're doing. I mean, showing up, like I said before, showing up for these things, these events. And so you go to parole. Where else you go? Like, where else you go? As far as
rehab.
Okay. Yeah. Day center, right?
Well, no, I was going down in Valtex, and then I go out to West Virginia. So I go everywhere. Actually, I don't just be stationed at one place. And then day report, I go up there a lot. Day
report, that's what I mean.
He said day center. I don't know about day center.
Well, day center down there,
okay.
Where our old office was.
Yeah.
But I think they kind of,
change it up, right. So I go a little bit of everywhere. I think it's important for me to, get the brand out there, but it's really not even about the brand. I just had to have a name for it. If I could have just called it Kiana, y'all go over to Kiana, I would have just called it that.
Right.
But it's really just about trying to. I done been through a lot,
right?
So it's just trying to get people.
Real quick, not to get too deep. How has this journey helped you though, personally?
Oh my God! First, it shows me that it's a lot more people out there like me than I thought. I'm not the only one that's facing these barriers, so I don't have to cuss every employer out. Then just being able to, it's the opportunity to be able to, enlighten other people through my story, and then being able to see all these resources that I never even knew that we had. So now I'm able to relay them to my father, to my brother, to anybody else that's coming up in these hard situations, and try to steer them correctly before the system have to correct them.
Right, being proactive. I think I'm glad you mentioned that too. When we say people are against, this is not a black or white statement or anything, but if people are against us, no, sometimes we're against ourselves. And that's you as a person, that's not you as a race, but you as a person. You're against, yourself. And that's the thing. You have to understand, if you stay stagnant, you will not grow. You will not grow. And that's the thing. And it's also something we have to also get the information that's given that's out there. As you can see, sometimes you ain't paying to get in these places. You go, right? I mean, really. I mean, and trust me, it ain't easy to get in all these places that you get into either. I'm telling you that. It's not. Because they don't know exactly, so, your reputation must, really exceed itself, because they wouldn't be doing it if that was the case. But that's, a testament to you. That's a testament to having people around you that can do it as well. That's why anytime, like I said before, I don't think you understand the impact that you will have or having now. You will see it because you're young. So you'll see the impact, from a while. But also now the proactive. So now the proactive part is to get the young when they don't have anything going on, to keep it that way. And that, and even if they did, to know that they have a place to land when they did, right? And come into places, and kind of get set up to where they can, kind of excel. And, like sometimes it's not only here. I think it's getting better here, with employers in West Virginia. I do believe that. But, because other states have already kind of, capitalized on the fact of, sometimes a person has a record, but they give them a second chance. And I think it's getting better here, definitely with some better jobs, hopefully, as well. But that's, a lot of times what we have to understand, people make mistakes, and then sometimes it does cost them, a lot. But, and like I said, but being there for them, like you said, and having that mental health piece in there, It's a big thing. So tell me, so you said, so you can go right now, they contact you and then you'll start to take them through. If I was just new trying to get into reentry, I would contact you.
Yeah.
And then we go from there. You'll meet with me.
Yeah.
Right. And then tell me a little bit about how we go from there.
We'll build your success plan. So that's just finding out your triggers.
There we go.
Finding out the things that you actually like to do, because that's the kind of environment I like to put you in,
Right.
You want to be happy going to work. To learn a little bit about your childhood trauma so that whenever I do introduce you to generations or anybody else that would deal with mental health, they'll know where we're coming from right then and there.
Right.
Just to get a little bit of back history about you so that we can build you a plan successfully.
Right. So you, and like I said, so you do have some success for people, we have some success stories, right?
Yeah, I got plenty. Oh man, I had a caseload of 72. Went from October to now, a caseload of people of 72 people, and these are people that have already had jobs. You get what I'm saying? They come to me like, hey, I just need something going on. I need somebody to talk to.
Right.
So now I was taking on, before I got with Generations, I'm taking on people's problems. You get what I'm saying? They can turn it into, we're friends now, so now I'm turning it into, now I'm telling you about my problem. I don't want to hear about you no more.
Well, that's it.
I
think now it's just getting down, us sitting down with the right people in order to even streamline it even more. Those things are needed. Trust me, those things are needed, but it's also needed to be funded as well, in a way, because you're really helping, the community in a positive way. Like I said before, and that's the thing about, getting up and kind of, getting out there and doing these things as well. I mean, like I said before, I can't wait, to see what the day entails. I mean, if we have one person, that's enough. I mean, that's enough. I was telling some of the kids the other day, I mean, if you were here, that's what, you're meant to be here. Yeah. And to see them, it gives me hope when I see, the kids coming in, coming in learning, right? Coming in learning, like from the ground up, basically, reading about it. I mean, they read about different things like, like international etiquette, different things like that as well. Just learning from abroad, and they're all doing it in the confines of Bethany, or, to me, is a great thing. I think so. I mean, so when you have jobs, and then you have, careers. And, a lot of times, your career is something you really enjoy. And that's it. So hopefully that's what you can do. You can blossom this into a career. Yeah. I know it's not only a job to you, but it is a career now, but also, to where you can devote your time straight. Think about how much, if you could devote all your time to it, how much, a lot of your time, of course, your personal time, but a lot of your time to it. I think it's what it starts that way. I think it also starts with us researching places that have already done it. Yeah. So we can see, and see what they've done. And not saying we're trying to copycat, but then again, it's all sometimes like reinvent the wheel. Yeah. Sometimes, this is West Virginia, this ain't North Carolina, so it's okay to, maybe, use some of the things that maybe work in North Carolina here, or vice versa. Yeah. Same difference. I think a lot of times, that's the encouragement of, people getting out there is a big thing as well. Yeah. Getting there and doing these things. That's why I said, I think the more we do it, the better we can be.
Yep. And FMRS too.
Okay.
We work hand in hand with them also. So for the mental health aspect of it.
I could be wrong. So if I say this, I'll go back to, but FMRS is a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Did not even know that. Yeah. Think about all the different things they got going on. Yeah. It's a nonprofit. I think that's outstanding. To anything, the research would be that. Yeah. You know what I mean? To see, because that's what you want. Things like that, just to help. And look how many people they help. Yeah. They help a lot. They have a lot of different branches as well too. And I think, with us, in the journey that we are, having you on board, you need these things. These branches don't have to be called the summit. It don't matter. To me, what it's called. Whatever. But you have these branches. Yeah. It was a Pastor Leach came on and was talking about that. About how to, it made sense. How to branch it out, in order to, self-sustain, whatever that is. If it's the water was the main thing, then we branched out and it always fed back into the water, but still wanted to make it grow even more. So it wasn't only the fact of that. And I think a lot of times, and I think, he was talking about the church in this sense, but he was just giving, an example of how it could grow. That's what it's about. It's way bigger than the summit. way bigger than just a bunch of felons. Only to say they have a big conglomerate of, partnerships, right, in order to get them together. And that's why I said, when I think about FMRS, I think, a lot of times about things like that as well. That's why it's good to have, people like you said, like yourself on, come on anytime. Like I said before, if you want to do it on here, the spotlight, we'll get out of your way. We'll give you the mic and you can run at it. Like I said, put all your stuff on the board and we roll for it. I mean, I think it's just better to have, getting those success stories out there because you know how it is now. People flipping a button on their phone, they're looking at things, they catching it. But they may not know you from the street, but they will know, oh shoot, that's a lady who's in. And that's it. So to get you out there and get you growing. Nice. So I appreciate you coming. Like I said before, appreciate you, Mike. I think, like I said before, when we start, like I said, today will be workplace readiness. Tomorrow will be financial literacy. We didn't get on that a lot, but we will. You definitely have to have your finances in order. That's the bottom line. Because there's a lot of people out there, and you're gonna have to, some give and take too. Yeah. But what I need, what I want. We do this game called Spent. And you start to see that. It's real life. So it's like, when am I gonna do this? Usually when you take those shortcuts, it's okay now, but on the backside, it come back to haunt you. And that's even down to going to the dentist. Remember when it has one in there, you go to they shove it off because it costs money. But now I need a root canal. So it's like I didn't do it here because now I need a root canal. Now I gotta do it. That's the thing. So it's good to get these things out. Like I said, I thank you all. It's been enjoyable. we haven't went live in a long time. So it was good to go live. But like I said, we having sign-ups for Camp Elevate coming up Monday. We're trying to sign up 25 kids to come, do it. We have a month-long camp that we're going to do with kids. We actually can announce that it's going to actually be at the East Park at the Cultural Center, Multicultural Center. That'll be the base of it. So that's a great thing. And I think Frank, Debbie Williams for that, and also April Clark as well for help setting that up. They've been, countlessly working on, just getting, definitely a good partnership together as well. So I want to thank them as well. We'll get more information out about it, but like I said, it'll be on our website, thesummitcollective.org. The signups will be definitely for that. And we'll be doing, like I said, these classes here, these workforce development classes, just a bunch of felons and, Donkey and Summit will be, combined. So it'll be every Wednesday and Thursday, first of the month. So just remember at 1:00, 1 to 2, we have refreshments. Rooms already set up over there. Might look a little party, but that's okay. That's what we want. We're going for that party. Not party like that, but just in the mind of so you won't go to sleep, type of thing. So that's what we're doing. So I want to thank you all, and like I said, thank you for watching. And we'll do it again next week, Lord's will.
Thank you.
That was good. That felt like the Montel Williams show. That was good.
Yeah.